I tried switching from the iPhone 17 Pro Max to the Galaxy Z Fold 7 to understand one simple thing. Am I actually ready for foldable smartphones? For 6 months, I used them side by side. One day, a classic smartphone. The next day, the Galaxy Fold 7. Back and forth, every single day. And the result was not what I expected. And honestly, it might surprise you too. It feels like I spent $2,000 and $1,500 for nothing, or maybe there is another path. While the iPhone 17 Pro Max was disappoint me with the broken iOS 26, the lack of real AI, and almost zero feeling of novelty, the Galaxy Fold 7 felt like a breath of fresh air. But the longer I used it, the more my idea of the perfect smartphone started to change. If you're looking for a boring specs comparison, you can skip this video. What worries me is this. One of these phones gives me anxiety every time I leave the house, and the other one constantly manipulates me into wondering if it will even survive until the end of the day. And no, I'm not talking about battery life. After 6 months of daily use with the two most expensive flagship phones on the planet, here is the harsh truth about living with them. Welcome to the channel. Today we're watching what happens after the honeymoon period is over. First impressions matter, but what really matters is how you feel in the end. For more than 5 months I've been carrying the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the Galaxy Z Fold 7 in my pockets, often at the same time. And online you usually see comments like, iPhone is perfect but boring. But Galaxy Fold is not for everyone, but it's futuristic. That's way too simple. Reality is much more complicated. The iPhone developed some strange habits Apple never talks about, and the Galaxy Fold survived things that I honestly thought would destroy it, yet failed at some very basic tasks. Let's talk about the most important question right away: fear of foldable devices. When I first got the Z Fold 7, the new hinge felt almost hydraulic. Samsung said they made a real breakthrough in dust protection this year. Here is the reality after 6 months. If you live in a clean room and never put your phone into a pocket with lint, maybe it will stay perfect. But I live in the real world. Over the last few months, small debris got into the hinge. And more than that, the protective layer that covers the hinge mechanism, it tore. And it happened at home, while opening the phone, in completely normal conditions. I just heard a strange sound when I opened it. And then I saw this. Maybe I caught it on something myself, but whatever happened, it happened. To Samsung's credit, this didn't affect the phone's functionality at all. It doesn't look broken, but the feeling changed, and my perception of reliability changed too. There is a thing called hinge looseness. So far, it hasn't happened to me. The phone still opens and closes like day one, but some things still annoy me. The crease, you see it often. And yes, you can feel it with your finger. The phone doesn't open completely flat. There is a small angle built into the design. If you're a perfectionist, this might bother you. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is very thin. For its size and construction, it's actually quite strong. But if you want to protect it, that's almost impossible. You either use a thin case that gives you basically no protection and only adds MagSafe magnets, or you use a massive case that completely destroys the aesthetics and the whole idea of the fold. The idea that a foldable phone can still be the size of a normal phone. And then there is the iPhone 17 Pro Max. This thing is a tank. After the Fold 7, you pick it up and instantly feel safe again. And that feeling stayed with me for 6 months. Very important note. When folded, the Galaxy Fold 7 actually feels like a real smartphone. You can use it quickly on the go without unfolding it. But here is the problem. The edges are so sharp that holding it in one hand is physically painful. It literally cuts into your palm. It's very painful. And if you put a case on it, it becomes even sharper, so you almost have no choice. If you want to use the phone, you have to unfold it. But that's not perfect either. It's hard to open, especially if you have short nails. There is simply nothing to grip. And the side fingerprint scanner is so thin that unlocking the phone rarely works on the first try. And then comes the most interesting part: usage and software. And here I get completely confused. I'm still shocked by how simple and at the same time how brilliant Samsung made the Fold. When unfolded, You're basically holding two smartphones. On the main screen, you literally have one home screen on the left and another second smartphone home screen on the right. If this were a trifold by Samsung, there would be just a third one. After iOS 26, the flexibility of One UI is impressive. Multitasking helped me a lot in real-work scenarios. For example, I can control my Sony camera while at the same time controlling another device that moves the camera for video shooting. On the iPhone, I simply can't do that. I can watch a lecture or a live stream on YouTube and take notes at the same time. More than that, I can open 3 apps at once, and it's still usable. The biggest advantage of the Galaxy Fold for me is the full desktop browser. No forced mobile apps. We still live in a world where some services only fully work in a browser. And the Fold lets me manage YouTube projects, work with AI services in their full web versions, comfortably. But here is the problem. All of this only works well at home or in the office. In real life, when you're constantly moving, it breaks. You start wanting a simple, proven single-screen smartphone again. I go back to the iPhone 17 Pro Max and instantly feel the benefit of mobility. The Galaxy Fold taught me that mobility and multitasking have limits. In some cases, the Fold goes beyond what is comfortable for mobile use. Walking and managing 3 windows at once is extremely hard. And when you finally stop and have time, you ask yourself, maybe it's just better to open a MacBook. It's still more comfortable because it's a real computer. So the Fold has the same conflict every tablet has. It's not really a phone, but it's not a computer either. My attempt to treat the Galaxy Fold as a smartphone failed. For me, it's a great mini tablet that can transform into a phone shape, but I can't call it a real smartphone, because it's simply less convenient than a classic phone. Just imagine an iPad mini that can fold in half and make calls. Will you really call it smartphone replacement? Some people would say yes, but I think most would say no. And I'm afraid the same conceptual problem will face the iPhone Fold. That said, the Galaxy Fold has one big advantage – Android flexibility. You can customize almost everything. If you don't like something, you can change it with Samsung Good Lock app, keyboard size, icon shapes, folder sizes on the home screen, wherever you want. That's great. But the main question for people switching from iPhone to Galaxy Fold is this: can I really switch to Android? In my case, I have only 3 problems. First, I can't properly transfer everything from Apple Notes, and that's critical. Apple Notes is a huge data ecosystem. It works on MacBook and iPad and iPhone. It's great. Android alternatives don't inspire trust. The only solution I see is Notion. A big company, long history, serious valuation. If I move my digital life, I want to move it to something that won't disappear tomorrow. Second problem: no airdrop. And I solved it easy with an app called Blip. It works on all operation system and doesn't even require registration. Now I move files between iPhone, Galaxy Fold, Windows and macOS, both directions. Third problem: what do you do with the Apple Watch? So now I use Garmin, and I'm also testing smart rings. Very honestly, a lifesaver. Camera. Samsung phones haven't been camera leaders for years. The Galaxy Fold 7 camera never allowed me to leave the iPhone at home. Every time I want the best possible result, I know I won't get it from the Fold. In a $2,000 phone, you expect everything to be top level. But the zoom camera is weak, night zoom is especially bad. Video is also worse than Samsung's own flagships. On the Galaxy S25 Ultra, videos look much better. The ultra-wide camera is better than previous Folds, but there are other foldables on the market with much better cameras. Even though, as foldable devices, Samsung still beats them in almost everything else. Battery life on the Fold is schizophrenic. That's the only word that fits. If I use the outer screen like a normal phone, it's actually fine. It can last a full workday. But you didn't buy a Fold for that. You bought it to unfold it. Here is the harsh math. The moment you open the big inner display, the battery starts dropping like a countdown timer. There were days when I used heavy multitasking. YouTube on one side, emails on other, and the phone died by 3 p.m. Screen on time ranged from 7 hours on a light day to barely 3 hours on a heavy day. This instability creates battery anxiety. I never leave home with the Fold unless I know there is a charger or a power bank nearby. With the iPhone, even with random bugs, I usually trust it to get me home. With the Fold, if I have 40% and plans for the evening, I panic. Verdict: no extra words. If you're a normal person who wants a phone that lasts 3 years, survives drops, keeps its value, and works all day without stress, buy the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Or the Galaxy S25 Ultra. It's boring and it's great. It's just a 2. It doesn't try to be everything at once. But if perfection makes you bored, if you're ready to live with battery anxiety, crunchy hinges, and fast depreciation, just to experience that magical moment when you open a map on a 7.6-inch screen, then buy the Fold. Just know, magic has a price. I kept the Fold because I love technology, but my SIM card stays in the iPhone. Because I have a life to live comfortably. And because different tasks require different tools. If you think one device can replace everything, you're probably very wrong. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it.